Would you support the elimination of any government agencies, and if yes, which ones and why?
Well, right off the bat, regardless, and I do hope there's a Republican elected president, and that because I think that'll help our country, and I hope we win this seat. And if we do win in Virginia by all estimates and observations, conservatives or Republicans will be in the majority in the U.S. Senate. If that president, Republican or Democrat, nominates any czars, I am going to vote against him. I just don't think that's right. They're unaccountable. They're not even confirmed. To me, it's we need accountability in Washington. So however many czars there may be, or czardoms, every one of them ought to be eliminated, and I will fight and vote against any of them, even if it's coming from a Republican president. I think that beyond that, I think that you look at various agencies that really, you take, for example, education. Education is primarily a state and local responsibility. There can be a pass-through for the school lunch program, which is focused mostly on lower income students to make sure they have nourishment. There's way too many strings attached to the Department of Education, whether it's the Bush administrations or this one under President Obama. And I'd like to see, with the little amount of money that actually comes from the federal government in education, it's not necessarily to abolish it, but just have it as a pass-through for whatever the programs, and let people in Fredericksburg or Stafford or King George County or Spotsylvania decide for themselves, and the state on these issues. The Department of Energy, you'd actually like to have it a productive energy group. We don't need an energy policy that is emblematic, or that Solyndra is your prime example of an energy policy in our country. So you'd like to have EPA needs to be reined in. There was a 50-50 vote in disallowing EPA from regulating CO2, and that was a 50-50 vote. I'd love to be the deciding vote on that. You know, these energy policies for those many people who live here in the Fredericksburg area, in Spotsylvania, Stafford, King George, and elsewhere, a lot drive all the way up in far northern Virginia to D.C. for work. These high gasoline prices really are hurting families, especially lower and middle income families. When President Obama came into office, the average price of gas was about $1.80 a gallon. It's now, as you well know, about $3.40 a gallon. You know what that translates into? For filling up 20 gallons, $30 more every fill-up. Just think, as a family, what you could do with that extra $25 or $30 every time you fill up. You could go to a restaurant. You could save it for your kids' college education. You could pay down debts. And so the Department of Energy and EPA ought to be one that is looking forward and positively, rather than being an impediment and locking up our resources and being so harmful and hurtful and punishing families and small businesses.